Hi, my name is Mark O'Reilly from FitVision, and today we're going to look at ways in which you can build a sustainable plan around your wellness if you are working shift. So what we want to start with is one of the key barriers to building a sustainable plan, and that's our motivation. How do we remain motivated long term? Let's look at habits and how habits are formed. So as you can see from this slide, how many days does it take to create a habit? I'm sure you have your own answer to this question. It could be 21 days, 28 days, or maybe even 100 days. But the truth is that it's actually quite specific to us as individuals. For example, if I was somebody who had a cigarette with my morning coffee for the last 20 years, it may take me longer than 100 days to kick that habit. And the reason for that might be that naturally I will hit a streak of maybe 20 or 30 days, but then I am going to relapse. Something might trigger me to have a cigarette in the morning, and before I know it, I'm back into that old habit. So what we want to do today is break down how habits are formed and then look at ways in which we can guard against falling back into some of the old habits that we have. And as we can see here, habits are normally formed in three ways. So we've got a trigger, we have the actual behavior itself, and then we have the reward that's actually attached to that behavior. And let's use an example of, say, somebody who drinks excess amounts of coffee. So the trigger for that person might be that they feel fatigued or tired. The behavior obviously is reaching for that cup of coffee, and the reward is that they feel like they have energy afterwards, even if that energy does last a short space of time. So if we're trying to develop motivation, if we're trying to change a habit, we need to be aware of the trigger. Because what a lot of people can do is they can start at the behavior level. They start to, for example, swap the coffee for green tea. Now, yes, that's a good move to make, but we need to start at the trigger level. We need to identify what the trigger is. In this case, it's feeling tired. And we need to look at other actions we can do to increase those energy levels. So in this instance, in order to build motivation long term, we might look at other small actions we can take. So we might focus in on other aspects of our nutrition. We might focus in on trying to increase our regular activity, because we know that both of those things help to increase our energy levels. They help to reduce our need for those excess amounts of coffee as we move through the day. So what I want you to do as part of this process of building motivation is to do what you see on our next slide here. I want you to try and identify your triggers. So if, for example, you're trying to build a new exercise routine, but you constantly find yourself maybe hitting a streak of a week or two and then obviously falling back into some of your old habits, can you identify some of the triggers that force you into those old habits? And when you've identified those triggers, can you look at other ways, other actions that may help you overcome that trigger? And that's one of the first keys to obviously building long-term motivation. The second, and what I want to look at today, is setting our wellness goals. Now, this is a critically important step in the process of maintaining changes. We need to know what direction we're moving in. Why are we doing what we're doing? The area we normally fall down on when it comes to setting goals is we focus too much on the performance goals that you see here. We may say that I want to run 5 kilometers in 30 minutes by the end of the month. And if I don't hit that performance-based goal, my motivation drops. I see it as a failure. What I want you to do is not to completely disregard the performance goal. You've got to be flexible with your performance goal, but I want you to also set outcome and process goals. So your outcome goal is the ultimate reason why you're doing this. If we use our running example, maybe the ultimate outcome is I want to improve my health, to live a longer, happier, healthier life, be there for my children, etc. So that's the outcome. That's what you're striving for. That's really, as we see here, the vision or the mission. The performance goal can stay the same as long as it's realistic and flexible. And then the process goal are the rituals and the habits that we do every day. What are the small things, if you were to break it down to its most minute form, what are the small things that you can do every day that you can tick off your to-do list? It could be setting out your running gear for that day. It could be doing a calendar that week of when you're going to actually exercise, etc. Ensuring you're putting it in at a time where you won't be distracted or be called upon to do another task. So what I'd like you to do as we finish up today's video, I want you to use the worksheet that you see here. You've got your outcome, your performance, and your process goals. I want you to start with the outcome. What's the real reason for you to start exercising or change your nutrition or stop maybe that habit of the cigarette in the morning? What would be the ultimate outcome for you? Try and attach yourself to that vision, what that looks like. Then I want you to think about the performance-based goals. How are you going to know that you're actually moving forward in this area? And it could be something as simple as setting a 5K target if exercise is your change. And then I want you to focus in on the process goals. You could have anywhere between maybe 3 or 5 daily or weekly processes which help you stay on track, which help you avoid the triggers that we spoke about previously. I want you to give that a go and see what impact it has on your overall motivation. And I hope you found this tip helpful. Thank you.